What's up, y'all? It's IUE. It's BGE. We ready to get this money today.
Cuerpo, sarang mo na yan!
It never gets old, dude. I love it. 20th Century Fox presents IUE BGE. Okay, so guys, today we usually do a core four. We're not doing a core four today. We're doing a fade four. Because if we did a core four, we'd probably all get on here and tell you how to win a cash game and all end up picking the same chalky picks that everyone else is going to use. So today we're going to give you guys to fade in order to win a GPP, which we normally don't do. We are cash game players. We like to build the bankroll and week to week win cash games, and that's how you do the fantasy game. That's how you attack the DFS fantasy slates. But today we're all about that GPP, baby. We want those big bucks. We want to win a guaranteed prize pool tournament. All right. So, and for example, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now, I'm not sure. If you faded Derrick Henry and you played Nick Chubb, you won a lot of money. You won a lot of money. But at the time, it didn't make sense to fade Derrick Henry because he was going against the Ravens. He had a track record of balling out against them. So it took some real cojones I didn't have that week, to fade Derrick Henry. If you did so, congratulations. You're moving to the Cayman Islands right now. So I'm going to start off with one of my actually, no. We're going to start with the Sith Lord, Joski, with the big ass check in the background there. I didn't know Sith Lords got big ass checks like that. But who you fading today, man?
So I'm still up in the air. I think we're doing it by position, so I'm still up in the air with my quarterback and my wide receiver spots, actually. So I'm going to figure those out a little bit as we go. I am going to go ahead and start off with my running back fade. I am fading Aaron Jones. He will not be in any of my lineups, and it's for multiple reasons here. First, this is the clear-cut reason, and it's because he's going against Tampa Bay. They've been the number one ranked running defense in the league for 2 years running, all puns intended. So there's no way that I'm picking him to go up against that daunted front there. The other reason is just because they're starting to use those other guys. I mean, Jamal Williams has been getting the carries already, but now A.J. Dillon is jumping into the scene a little bit and has been productive. And he's truly the guy I think will actually end up leading that backfield next year. And it looks like he's starting to take it over a little bit earlier now. So Aaron Jones, just not worth the risk for me this week. I will not have him in any of my lineups, which probably means he'll end up having about 2 to 3 touchdowns or something along those lines. So.
Right, yeah. And that's definitely how that loves to go. But hey, I have to agree though. The Packers just don't want to give him the ball. They just don't want to. I think his carries for the past 8 to 10 weeks, I don't think he's gotten over 15. I think one game he got over 15 carries, and the rest is like 10, 11, 12, 10 again, 13, 14. It's like, what's going on? Because Aaron Jones the previous year had an amazing season. So it's crazy. They don't want to give him the ball. Maybe they're preserving him because they know A.J. Dillon is their guy. Moving forward anyway, that's for sure. Who are you fading today?
Yeah, well, I agree with the Aaron Jones pick. I mean, he's that guy anyway. Even last year with his good season, I mean, I wrote him to our fantasy championship, but he's such a hard guy to trust because 1 week he'll give you 50, and then the next week he's supposed to blow up, and then he gives you 2. I mean, and like you guys are saying, you're just not giving him the ball as much as they used to. Plus, I think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot in that game, and I think they're going to utilize some of the other guys. But mine's a little simpler than that. I'm fading all running backs for the Bills. And I know it was Singletary and Moss before, but Moss is on IR. So even though Singletary is going to be the guy, I think they're going to throw the ball 100 times in that game. And I wouldn't pay any money because Singletary's 4th or 5th, I think, on the list of money, and I'm not taking Singletary. I've had him in a couple lineups last week, and I just think they're going all the way against him. And Josh Allen's going to get the rushing touchdowns if there's any rushing touchdowns to be got anyway. So I'm fading all Bills running back.
Ooh, all Bills running backs. You have Singletary's 4,500. I don't think Zach Moss is playing today. Ooh, I should have checked that. But what's that?
He's on IR. I'm pretty sure he's
IR.
not. They're not. Yeah, I don't think he's coming off.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, last week I expected Singletary to do a little bit more than what he did. That was that turned out to be a bad call. Even though that was a bad call, it's not a worse call than
And 450. N. No N. Randy.
was not a worse call than that, you know? So when I see things like that, it makes me feel better. I'm like, okay, that guy has some deep-rooted issues, and I just made a bad call in fantasy last week. No big deal. But this week, okay, so who am I fading? And listen, I'm on it with you guys with the Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones, my bad. Aaron Jones, I'm fading him as well. So with my quarterback pick for the day, who am I fading? Okay, guys, if it's a GPP, we got to get a little ballsy, right? This is like fading Derrick Henry status. There's really no way around it. We've got to fade somebody that's been chalky for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Even though him and Tyreek Hill pull this kind of shit off all the time, you know, I have to fade Patrick Mahomes today. I simply cannot do it. He's coming off of a weird injury. Lord knows if they're being truthful or upfront about his injury and his concussion. And I mean, the guy couldn't stand. He couldn't stand up, you know, and that just makes me nervous. Also, the last time that the Bills played the Chiefs, the Bills completely sold out to stop the pass. Totally sold out to stop the pass, which made the Chiefs run, and they did run. They ran well. They ran all over them. So if the game plan is anything like it was last time, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the guy to fade today in GPP lineups. Now, if I'm playing cash, you can't tell me nothing. I am playing Patrick Mahomes. But for GPP, you got to get a little ballsy. You feel it down in your plums. You know what I mean? Like Will Ferrell. I meant to get that clip, but I forgot. Let's go over to Sith Lord Jowski. Man, you look like you about to shock me through the computer like Samuel L. Jackson, man. You finna send me through a window, dog. Who else you fading today?
Oh man, I left my office window open last night because I was in here and it got a little bit warm, and then I left and went into the living room and just never closed it. So now that I'm sitting in here, it's still freezing. So probably things stand up for the rest of the show. Yeah, let me go ahead and jump to quarterback a little bit here. So now this, I think I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to fade Josh Allen. You know. Now, with this, Josh Allen's been playing amazing, and it's tough to do when you're looking at players like, you know, obviously people are going to want to roster Stephon Diggs, and you'll want to go with the stack, and that's where you're going to go there. But looking at this last game that they played, and by the way, just to kind of throw it out there, both of these games that are going on today happened in Week 6. You know, the Brady Rodgers should have been the late Sunday night game, but it wasn't. It was actually 4 o'clock. And then Bills and Chiefs was actually on Monday night, so you know, it was almost like the NFL was almost setting this up somehow, low key. But, you know, nonetheless, this kind of goes back to what Jeff's fate was at the running back position. The Bills can't run the football. They're going to be very one-dimensional. The Kansas City Chiefs defense has gotten better since the last time that these two teams played. I think that the game plan is going to be set up, and they might actually be able to limit some of what Josh Allen does. About the only thing that I think may salvage his day is that obviously this is a guy that kind of can move a little bit out of that pocket and make plays downfield with his legs. You might even get them into the red zone, and because there's no run game, he might vulture a touchdown from I don't even know if I should call it vulture because literally those running backs are just plain out ass. But if that doesn't happen, then I mean, all cases and scenarios, I'd rather go with the three other guys who are going to air it out, not using without using their legs. And I mean, we know they're going to put those yards up.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I with the fading thing, it's got to be ballsy. That's it. You know, I'm not. Josh Allen is my guy for the playoff fantasy picture type thing. But as far as winning a GPP today, hey, if he does not show out, you're going to be up ahead of a lot of people. But like, let's not get it twisted, everybody. You're not going to get a player in your lineup that's like 5% owned today or even 10% owned today. It's just not going to happen. There's only 4 teams. There's 2 games. What are you going to do? So you have to fade the right guy. You have to fade the right people. That's for sure. So have faith. Who else you fading today?
Look, I'm as I told you guys yesterday, and at what you just said, I mean, there's 4 really good quarterbacks playing today. So it's a roll of the dice. But look, I'm with you, Drew. I'm fading Mahomes. And main reason is he's the only one that has some kind of injury designation going into this game. And I don't care about the concussion and all that crap, but it really looked like he broke his toe or did something pretty major there before he got so-called concussed. And it affected him. I mean, he's a mobile quarterback. So if his foot isn't healthy, I think that puts him a little bit below the other guys. You know, and that's the only reason I'm fading Mahomes is because of the possibility of him not being 100%. And like you said, a lot of people are going to go with Mahomes. But I did see some interesting stuff. Kansas City is 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 games. 7 in a row at home. They have not covered the spread. And that doesn't mean he's not going to have a big game, but it's not going to be, you know what I mean? It's not going to be what they've done. It's not going to be a huge 42-20 blowout. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be, I think they are going to run the ball a little bit more because of the injury thing. But 58% of the people in Vegas right now are betting on the Bills. The line's 3.
Ooh, really? The money came in mostly on who? The Bills?
Bills. Yep, 58%.
Whoa, okay. That's still pretty close. That's something I always like to look at because if above 75% of the money comes in favoring a certain team, you have to go opposite. You have to go opposite because Vegas, the trap worked. It worked. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Vegas does. That's why they're there. That's why they are who they are. You know, but at 58%, that's still pretty cool. Whew, man, that's close. I feel like that game is a toss-up for sure. Let's take some time.
And then look,
what's up?
And the Browns showed last week that you can slow Kansas City down. And I know Mahomes didn't play that last quarter or whatever, but they showed that with a good game plan, you can slow them down.
Right, exactly. And who was the safety valve that he needed because he wasn't moving around all that well? Travis Kelce, a.k.a. get Travis Kelce in your lineups. GPP, cash games, whatever, head-to-head. I don't care what contest you're doing. Get Kelce in your lineup. Not only does he not need milk for a one-chip challenge, but he's going to be the safety valve of the best quarterback in the NFL. That's a very good spot to be in, okay? Very good spot. Let's take some time and check out and give a shout-out to our listeners here. Jay says, good morning, fellas. And she's calling out her sister, Janelle Green. Where you at? Where you at? Hey, guys, if you have questions, comments, concerns about today's games, you want us to break anything in particular down, go ahead and put your questions down in the comments, and we'll definitely chop it up about whatever you're trying to chop it up about. Because I know that today's supposed to be a fade 4, but it's kind of hard to pick 4 guys to fade. It's a little bit tough. I don't know if you guys have anyone else in particular that you just don't trust today. But as far as my fades, I feel like just the 2, Aaron Jones and Patrick Mahomes, I mean, if they fail today, and the guys you put in replace of them do well, you're cashing out. You're gonna cash out. Okay, so and I won't feel next week like it's that bad of a call. So we won't have to play the Wheel of Fortune reel. You know what I mean? So yeah. But as far as who I believe in, I'm gonna wait a second because I want to see if I line up with you two. Joski Doski with the big ass check. Y'all don't act like you don't see that big ass check back there. Don't act like it ain't there. There it is. Joski Doski with the big check. Who do you believe in today?
Oh, man. Well, all right. I don't want to be obvious, so I'm just going to throw out there. I clearly believe in Tom Brady, but so this kind of I'm going to tie this in a little bit because I had a tight end fate that I was going to go at, and that kind of leads to like my belief. I am going to be fading Gronk today. Now, the reason I'm fading Gronkowski is because it seems like Tampa Bay has found some success in having him hang back the block. And these teams that they've been playing against, granted, Washington and New Orleans were both ranked a little bit higher in their pass rush. But Green Bay, I mean, they're like right in the middle, and they also have a guy on their team. Of course, I can't think of his name right now, but I mean, his past 2 seasons have. I looked at the stats the other day, have been equivalent to Aaron Donald's. Now, I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but he's put up about the same stats, and he's been getting to the quarterback a lot recently. So, in turn, holding back Gronk has been having them send out Cameron Brate a lot more and on these routes, and he has actually been putting up decent stats. I believe he had 4 targets. He had 5 catches against Washington, and then he had 6 catches on the same amount of targets. I'm sorry, I got that all turned around. 4 targets. He has 6 targets, 4 catches. Against New Orleans last week. I wrote it backwards there. Against New Orleans last week. And, it's really been keeping some of those drives alive, some of those games where I'm sure we've all seen Tampa go out and it's just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You're not seeing those anymore because he's out there kind of keeping those alive. Gronk's keeping everyone from getting from Brady to Brady. And we all know when Brady has time, he's going to find someone open. He's going to kill you downfield. So, Cameron Brate is the guy that I really like this week, especially at the price. He's $3,000. If you're looking to save money, regardless of whether or not it be cash or GPP, getting a low end player somewhere is going to really help you out, especially with all the talent that's up top, because we all know that we're going to want those receivers like Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams and such. Yeah.
No doubt. No, that makes perfect sense. I feel you on that. Okay, so going Brate over Gronk, that's ballsy, for sure. Because what's the name? Tom Brady and Gronk trying to break that record for the most connections in the postseason. God, he has been throwing at him. It just hasn't happened though. It hasn't happened. So I'm still pulling for Gronk there for the fantasy playoff league. But have faith. Do you have any more fades? Or if not, then go ahead and give a guy you truly believe in today.
Actually, it's kind of similar to what Joe was talking about. The tight end that I was going to fade kind of leads into the guy that I kind of like this week. And, it's the ultimate ballsy fade. But, look, if the Bills want to slow down the Chiefs, then they're going to have to take care of Kelsey. And the price of Kelsey, he's the most expensive player in the game this week, I believe. Him and Adams are both like 8,000. So you're not going to shut Kelsey out by any means, but if you can hold him to 5-6 catches for 70 yards, that's a big win for them if they can keep him out of the end zone. And I think that they're going to be really focused on Kelsey, which opens up Tyreek over the top big time. But sneaky pick that I do like today, and I can't tell you really why, is Tanyan, Green Bay. Devontae Adams is the man, and it's similar to the same thought process that I was talking about, that in order to slow Green Bay down, you really want to take care of Devontae Adams. And they have a couple other fast guys that are healthy that can hit deep, but Tanyan's been that guy. He's been like the quietest, most productive tight end in the NFL this year. He has 7, 8, 9 touchdowns, something like that. And
11.
11. Okay. Well, there.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's sneaky. It's a sneaky 11. How do you sneakily score 11 touchdowns?
Well, you catch 3 in one game. That helps out a lot, But but that just shows that it's always possibility with him. And I think it's going to be a great game. I mean, that's the game that I'm really looking to watch. And I've never, as you can see by my name on the screen, I've never rooted for Tom Brady ever one time in the playoffs or Super Bowl. But I can't root for the Packers. I never will, never have. So go Brady. But I think Tanyan's going to be a key in that game.
Yeah.
He's only 3,600 too.
Oh, wow. Is he only 3,600?
Yeah. So if you get similar production, if Tanyan can similarly produce to what Kelsey does, then that's a big swing in your lineups. That does leave you room for Tyreek Hill and Diggs and guys like that.
Okay. Hey, I feel that. Look, man, I gotta say, of all the talking heads, I've been listening to talking heads all week about the games this week, and not once did I hear Tanyan. So, and I love the pick. I love it so much. I have to know what he's clapping at. Well, obviously it's you. That's for you, FA. I just want to show the people real quick. This is what's going to be in the at the stadium for the Bills today. I'm pretty sure they're going to travel pretty well, and they're going to be in the parking lot squirting mustard on people and doing crazy stuff like this. That video gets crazier the longer it goes. Okay, let me tell you, Bills Mafia ain't no joke. Yes, Bills Mafia is the truth, man. I'm telling you, they may be crazier than Browns fans. I'm not sure. I'm not jumping through nothing on fire. Like, are you kidding me? They know they got to go to work tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, hey, that's the kind of feel that they're going to be getting from their fans, man, and that's what they got behind them. So I'm having a hard time fading anything Bills, even if the matchup's not so great, regardless of what happened in the last matchup that they had with them. So also my belief for today, and it's crazy because they're playing each other. I believe in Rodgers and Brady. They both have so much motivation to go out and just crush today. They both have it. I mean, Tom Brady, what was it? 6 Super Bowls, game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. Are you kidding me? Who does that? Like, that's motivated people. Motivated people do that. So first, let me play this clip, this motivational clip for Aaron Rodgers. And this is the reason Aaron Rodgers is in all of my lineups today.
4 times when you lose, at this point, does it take on more of a sense of urgency than maybe when you were younger?
It definitely hurts, I'd say, a little more than early in the career, just because you realize just how difficult it is to get to this spot.
Been a part of that division for 15 years. Everyone is going to bury Aaron Rodgers, and everyone is going to say Aaron Rodgers is never going to be back, this and that.
And it came all the way around to yesterday, and they got exposed for the frauds they were all year. And for the record, what have I said about Aaron Rodgers now? He doesn't like discomfort.
With the 26th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jordan Love, quarterback.
Big Raj gets up there with the card, the commissioner.
With the 26th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State. What's your reaction?
I got a text from my agent. He said he just texted quarterback. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And once I got that text, I went to the pantry. I poured myself, about 4 fingers And I knew it was going to be one of those nights, but I wasn't elated by the pick, especially being one game away from the Super Bowl, and don't harbor any ill will about it. Like, was I bummed out? Of course. It wouldn't be. I wanted to play my entire career in Green Bay. I love the city. I grew up there. Really, I was 21. I'm 36 now. A lot changes during that time. And I'm not bitter about it. It just kind of is what it is.
Mm-hmm. You're not bitter about it, my ass. Are you kidding me? This guy is so motivated to go out there and not fail. It's not even funny. And that's why I cannot go against Aaron Rodgers. What do you guys think? You think it's all moot point? He's going to go out there and get his ass beat anyway?
No, I like Rodgers in all the lineups too. I don't mean to interrupt or whatever, but you know what? Rodgers, 48 touchdowns for the regular season and 4 picks. It's the greatest touchdown to interception ratio in the history of the NFL. And I don't see any of that slowing down today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would pick him if he were going against anyone else, which, I mean, there's only one guy that's continuously throughout his entire career, even at the age of 43, hurdle every single obstacle that there has been. And that's Tom Brady. He's on the other side. So no better challenge. I mean, either one of these guys come out with this win. I don't think it diminishes the other anymore. It's just going to be a tough matchup, but, I'm going with the guy who has 6 and, has changed conferences to come where Rodgers has been trying to be his whole entire career. So, yeah, I gotta go with him. I'm going with Brady today.
No doubt. Hey, and look, Brady's piece is really super impressive as well. Okay, you guys check this out, and then I want to throw a question at y'all about Tom Brady.
He is falling from such heights, the greatest of all time, that on the way down, he's still going to be an effective quarterback. It's not that he's not an NFL quarterback, but he's not elite.
Well, that dude was wrong.
Tom Brady's just about done. It could be his next game he plays. It could be a year from now, but he is going to fall off a cliff. Tom Brady is going to be a bum in short order. Will it be this year? Not necessarily. I could see Brady, if he gets through the year without an injury, putting up big numbers, but then it'll be next. He'll be terrible by the middle of next season. First of all, the eyeball test tells you he's not the same. Secondly, if you look into the numbers, it verifies it. Highest interception total, lowest TD rate since 2013, lowest passer rating since 2014.
I never played football until my freshman year, and as a freshman, I was the backup quarterback on a team that was 0-8.
The team didn't score a touchdown, and he wasn't deemed good enough to play one offensive play as a quarterback.
The only reason why I played my sophomore year was because the kid who was the freshman quarterback stopped playing, because I'm not playing football anymore, so...
By his sophomore season, Brady was pushing number 14, senior Brian Greasy, for the starting job.
Coach Carr's thing was always the tie goes to the upperclassmen. I remember Tommy being a little, mad about that and thought about transferring.
He sat down right in front of my desk and he said, "Coach, I'm not going to leave, and I'm going to prove to you that I'm the best quarterback." There's no question. As I looked into his eyes, he had a goal in mind, and he was not going to be
denied. You saw this tall, gangly-looking kid. Looked like haven't ever seen a weight room. Ran a 5.2 something. One of the slowest quarterbacks in the combine. Does he wow you throwing the ball? Mm-mm. Did his coaches at Michigan really stand on the table and say, this is the greatest thing since Joe Montana? No, not even close.
His 40 time and that vertical jump, in 32 years of doing this, we talked about 576 quarterbacks. He was number 576.
Brady made his share of rookie mistakes.
I can't stand it. Run it again. Huddle up and run it again, Brady.
But he possessed a veteran's confidence.
This skinny beanpole of a young man walked over to me and said, "Hi, Mr. Kraft. I want to introduce myself. I'm Tom Brady." I said, "I know who you are. You're our 6th-round draft choice." And I always remember he looked me
like a laser eye to eye, and he said, "That's right, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made."
Tom Brady was the greatest football player in the 97-year history of the NFL. There's nothing else to debate.
I tried to tell you again and again and again, there is one man in sports you do not bet against. And his name is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. Tom Brady now has 6 rings thanks to 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. That is impossibly, unbelievably, astonishingly all-time clutch.
Whoa.
Freak baby.
Well, I'm sorry.
Right.
I had to get that in there real quick. My bad. So I mean, listen, how do you bet against these two guys and they're going against each other? Man, it's tough. You know? I'm still going Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. I can't. I have to Brady today. What you gonna say, Joe? I know Brady's your boy.
So you got me to go ahead and get in my jersey. Got a little bit in the feels there. I mean, like, honestly, who ever thought? I mean, we all seen that combine photo, video, whatever we want to call it, man. Like, could you honestly looked at that guy right then and there and said that 20 years later he was still going to be playing football and at a high level and an NFC, well, a championship game in general, because that period of time you didn't know where he was going to be drafted. I mean,
and even at the beginning of the season, they didn't know. I didn't think they would get as far as they've gotten now. You know, I mean, I really didn't. And to even go look at, like, when we did the ranking show a few weeks ago or way back when, we were like, damn, Tom Brady's way high on his list. You know, like, I didn't even realize he was doing so well, even though, you know what I mean? Because we read the narratives and the media saying this, media saying that. And then we look at the numbers and we're like, oh, shit, he's killing it still. So
it's almost like everyone wants him to throw for 6,000 yards. If he doesn't do that, then he's just not living up to his name. Because he finished with a little bit over 4,600 this year. But people just think that he had such a bad season. Well, newsflash, I believe Patrick Mahomes had like 4,700 or something, like a little bit over 100 yards more than Tom Brady did this year. So it's beyond me when people actually knock him as if he had a terrible season. He also set the touchdown record for Tampa Bay. I mean, what else is it that he is supposed to do in order for people to actually give him credit? But hey, he's the worst quarterback out of the conference championship quarterbacks, is the way that everyone's looking at it. It's funny to me.
Hey, you got anything to add there, Hefe, before I throw this question out at you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never been a Brady fan, and guys that have success like that, it's the Michael Jordan thing. It's Tom Brady. Whether they're talking good or bad, people watch him, and it's just as fun to root against Tom Brady as it is for people to root for Tom Brady. You know?
True. Yes.
And seriously, it's just what it is. He's the main reason that we've watched Super Bowls in this household for the last few years, is because don't really care who's playing now, but I want Tom Brady to lose. And then 6 times he said, no, I'm not going to lose. And it's just funny that his career, even from those pictures to now, he was always the underdog, always the underdog, always the underdog. And then how everything just flipped. And then he was the favorite, and he's the favorite, and he was the favorite. And it's not even about his quarterback play. The things that I've read and heard about the whole organization and how it was affected by Tom Brady's presence and just the things that he does as a teammate and a player. It's I don't know. He's solidifying his spot atop the rankings. And like I said, I'm not a big fan, but I think what he's accomplished this year really, really proves what he is.
Yeah, I think so. And that kind of leads me to the question I have for you guys, because inevitably every talking head in the world after the season is going to get on behind their microphones, and they're going to talk about, well, the split between Brady and Belichick. Who came out on top here? I mean, it's clearly Brady. at this point for me, but I do think Bill Belichick has some leeway still. I think he still has a lot of leeway because he still took that team to look, they lost guys for COVID. They had a bunch of defensive players opt out. They had, I mean, a lot of the slates were wiped totally clean. You know, it wasn't just losing Brady for Belichick. It was losing a lot more. But let's start with Joski Doski. What's your take on like how the split's gone?
Well, like you said, just to touch on New England season this year, I mean, we did lose a ton of players in the opt-out and a lot of names that you've actually heard in Super Bowls before. No Patrick Chung this year, no Marcus Cannon, no Dante Hightower, who is famous for the forced fumbles that he caused in both the Seattle and the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowls, where Tom Brady was able to get that ball down the field to get the lead back. Without those, and then you have COVID, where we lost Cam Newton in the middle of the season for 2 games. And by the way, for anyone that doesn't know, Cam did go 7-7 in the games that he played for us. He wasn't really not successful. I know the stats weren't there, but you have to give him credit because, we didn't have a real off season. So he didn't really get to work out with the team. He did join late. He had to learn a new playbook. He had guys like Damian Harris out of the lineup from the get-go, who was supposed to be a big deal and was a big deal when he was on the field. Julian Edelman out for a majority of the season with that injury. It's something that we can't really compare quite yet because I don't think that Bill Belichick had a full fielded team this year. But Tom Brady, you still look at it and you go to a completely different conference, a completely different division, because we know that the division argument has been a big thing for so long about how he's only been successful because he was in the AFC East, which I have numbers to go against that, but that's for a whole different day. He's in the playoffs. He's in the NFC Championship game. Let's call it what it is, a 50% chance as of right now to go to another Super Bowl. You have to give him the win. And then if you really want to look in a little bit deeper into it, Bill Belichick's record really wasn't that great before Tom Brady. And if you go and take the year after, like I said, we still have to give leeway, but it hasn't been good this year. You look at Tom, and he's the factor. And you even go to the middle when Tom the ACL tear after the year that they went to the Super Bowl and defeated. Yeah, that team won. I want to say 10 games, somewhere around there, 9-10 games, somewhere around there, but they didn't make the playoffs. So the last 2 times that the New England Patriots have missed the playoffs were this season after Tom Brady left, and the season where Tom Brady went down with the ACL tear. I mean, what does that tell you? Who meant the biggest deal to it? Maybe they both complemented one another, yes, but that system was also built around Tom Brady and what he did. The quarterbacks that they brought in there, the Jimmy Garoppolo's, the Matt Castles, those guys had similar skill sets to what Tom did, and that's why when he went down or he couldn't play because of suspensions or whatever you call it, they were able to maintain and win games.
No doubt. No doubt about it. And then when Cam got in there, he built the offense to, operate around what Cam is good at. I mean, that's what good coaches do. That's for sure. So, like you were saying, I mean, the tape for me is still out on who wins the split, but Brady's in a pretty damn good position. Hefe, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, I agree with both of you. It's really situations are not the same, but I think what it does show is, look, a good coaching staff and a good system can make a good team, but a great quarterback will win you Super Bowls.
Oh yeah.
And let's look at what we're looking at right now. 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time playing each other, and then arguably 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the league. And I know that we've always talked about defense wins Super Bowls and stuff, but none of the 4 teams left. Tampa Bay's run defense is good, but none of these guys were, touted as stud defenses. So this year it's all about the quarterback. And I think that Tom Brady's play and where they're at right now puts him, like you said, over the edge. I think that coaching versus quarterback, I mean, it goes hand in hand. And as far as together, Brady and Belichick were probably the best coach quarterback tandem ever, but it's hard to replace a guy like that and expect the same level of success.
No doubt. No doubt. Jason wants to know how many players opted out on Patriots D. I know I saw that list, and as I typed here, every platform that we're on responded here. That's crazy. But Joe, you have an idea of the number? Because I saw the list and it was long, dude. They lost a lot of people.
Well, they had the most opt-outs this season. As far as defense is concerned, I know obviously Hightower and Patrick Chung were the big names there. And then we did still keep Stephon Gilmore. He did play, but he was out with COVID at one period of time, and then he got injured at the very, very end of the season. Probably last 4 games, I believe he was out.
Mm-hmm.
The list itself, trying to see if I can.
Yeah, I haven't seen the list since way back in the beginning, but I just remember wow, like they lost so many people.
6 or 7, wasn't it? Like legit.
I think it was a handful of starters and then a bunch of backups, like a bunch. So like they lost depth, they lost starters. I mean, that's a lot to overcome, and then they didn't have a preseason. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then they had COVID breakout. So it's like, man, because Bill is all about preparation, like preparing and being prepared for situations and things like that. All that shit down, man. It took his best quality away from that team for what he provides for that team. So to me, it's still out on Bill. What's up?
The number on defense, it looks like it was actually only 2. So it was those big names. It was Chung and it was Dante Hightower.
Mm-hmm. 2 starters.
And everything else. Yep. 2 starters and big name starters. Like I said, you're hearing those names in Super Bowls. Go back and watch any of them. And I mean, you're hearing Patrick Chung, you're hearing Dante Hightower a lot. So that's a big deal for those guys. The other one's Marquise Lee, not too big of a deal. I think he's someone that we had brought on board this before the season started. Danny Vitale, fullback, was a big name there because we have been looking for someone to kind of help us out in the run game a little bit more blocking. Brandon Bolden, more of a special teams guy. Offensive tackle Marcus Cannon, I mentioned him earlier. Yeah. That one is actually a gigantic loss, a lot more than people would think. So, yeah, I mean, when you go down the line, I mean, if you look at it like that, I don't know what the reason was for asking that question. If it was a slight, you kind of miss because you go and look at some of these other teams and you see they lost less players. And even when they lose less players, a lot of these guys, I don't even know. Like, I mean, the Browns had lost five guys. I think one of them was probably actually a big deal. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Don't get me started on the Browns. When we lost Grant Delpit before the season started, I was slowly losing hope in our abilities. But okay. So, anyways, let's go ahead and give our final thoughts here. Rich Wilk says, "Good discussion, fellas." We got a thumbs up from Rich. That's pretty cool. Good looking out, Rich. But all right, so let's go ahead and give our final thoughts and give out your 2 winners. What's the Super Bowl game gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Let's start with you, Hefe.
You know what? I think that I think Buffalo has a really good chance, and I'm rooting for Brady, but I think Green Bay is a little better overall. So it's going to be the State Farm Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Mahomes and Brady. And, hey, I'm sure that Jake from State Farm, that's it. I'm sure Jake will be there. But Buffalo and Green Bay, I think that it's a nice change of pace. And, that'll probably lead to a Green Bay Super Bowl. But
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But I think those 2 teams, that's who I'm going with.
All right. Joski with that big ass check. Who's playing in the Super Bowl and your final thoughts?
So Kansas City and Buffalo should be a pretty decent game. Like I said, though, I think it really does hurt Buffalo a little bit that they can't run the ball. I think that's ultimately going to get in the way, regardless of how limited Mahomes may or may not be. I think Tyreek Hill is going to also want to have a big game because he did only have 3 catches for 20 yards this first meeting, and you know how much he wants to go test out those DBs to see if they actually could go out and catch some chickens. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs going to the Super Bowl again. And then on the other side, we already know the direction I'm going. I'm taking the GOAT until he proves me wrong, and I don't think that that's ever going to be a possibility. This year, I like him beating Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and then Patrick Mahomes and shutting everyone up because I'm just tired of all of the arguments, you know, like, oh, he's not the GOAT. I mean, just think back on it. I mean, at one point in time, it was who's better, who's the GOAT, Tom Brady and Joe Montana. And for some reason, every year we hear a different narrative of who's better. Well, when do these guys have to pass Joe Montana? You know, can I hear Patrick Mahomes against Joe Montana before I start hearing he's better than Brady? Can I hear someone compare Aaron Rodgers to Joe Montana before he's better than Brady? Well, why do they all get to skyrocket past the guy who was previously the GOAT? So let Tom Brady go in and kick the rest of these guys' ass, win at the age of 43, and then I just can't wait to hear what the next argument is.
All right. Hey, fair enough. No, those are really good points. That's for sure. But there's definitely that the arguments that come out themselves really say a lot about the players that they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you take Brady and the only guy yet to compare him to is Joe Montana. You know what I'm saying? That's the only one. And so the rest of those guys, it's like, can they compare to Joe? Not really. You know what I mean? So the arguments, as unvalidated as some of them are, it speaks to the testament of the guys that are being talked about, especially Tom Brady, you know, who I do think is the GOAT. Before I give mine, Jason says Brady versus Allen, Super Bowl 55. I am saying the Packers going to get that W. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be stopped today. And Brady will be back next year. He'll definitely be back. And Buffalo, I don't think Kansas City's going to get out of this one. It's going to be such a good game. Both these games are going to be top notch for sure. But I'll say Buffalo knocks off Kansas City. And then that's going to force Kansas City to go out and make some moves to become a little bit more well-rounded. I
don't know how much more money they're going to have to make some moves. They only have one more year until that Patrick Mahomes.
They got to get savvy. They got to get savvy. They have no choice. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. They're going to have to pay out the ass for some Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so I want to leave the people with some music. I know I'm hard-headed. What can I do? But Facebook, YouTube, all y'all, don't ignore my banners. Don't ignore them. All right. Peace out, y'all.
Mine's handmade, pan-fried, sun-dried, southside, and beat the devil by a landslide. Praying with her hands tied. President of my fan club, Santa. Something told me I should bring my money.
Move it slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for the whole week. I've been praying for you, you're my Sunday king. You gotta move slowly, taking in my body like it's holy. I've been waiting for you for this whole week. I've been waiting for you, you're my Sunday king. Come on in this house. It's gonna rain down time. It's gonna rain. You better come on in this house. It's gonna rain down time. It's gonna rain.
Okay. I had to type new banners in. What happened to my banners? All right. Deuces, y'all. Peace out. Go win some money.